Friends, if you're having trouble getting your prayers answered, you might need to ask yourself, am I looking at God as a potential option, or am I looking at him as my only hope? In other words, are you recognizing that God is the source for everything in your life, or are you just looking at him as a resource? See, a problem we have, especially in America and well-developed countries, is we treat God like an option. We might go to church if we don't feel like sleeping in or we have time for it. We might read our Bible whenever we're done watching this show or whenever we're not too busy. In other words, we try to squeeze in, if we care, we try to squeeze in a little bit of time for God when it should be the opposite. God should be at the focal point of everything that we do, everything that we function within, and we should be consulting with him if the other stuff is okay. If we get to a point where our job overrides God, then we got to do some reevaluation. If our leisure time overrides God, we got to reevaluate. Even our kids, even our loved ones, our friends, if they override God instead of working lockstep according to his plan, then these are things that we need to reevaluate. And once you start looking at life from that perspective, once you start operating like that, trust me, then the prayers will get answered. You'll see the hand of God work because you're moving as if he is ultimately what you need. See, some of us are too, we're too proud. We're too arrogant out here. We haven't been in those rock bottom moments where God is the only thing that we need to go to. It's so hard to see in this country because even poor people, and yes, pray for those who are struggling and poor, but in a relative sense compared to the rest of the world, all these third world countries, we're living lavish over here. Even those that we would consider poor in this country are probably richer than, I would say, 80 to 85% of the rest of the world. You know, we got poor people complaining about how oppressed they are, typing it in on their iPhone. Like, that's ridiculous. So again, you have to be desperate for God, hungry for God, actually need God, and not just treat him as something that you just come and visit on Sunday haphazardly because maybe you'll get a few tips and tricks. There's too many people out here that treat Jesus like a consultant, like a little buddy that you might check in with. And that is a total affront and disrespect to God. So don't be surprised if your prayers don't get answered. Or you'll probably end up in a situation, and I pray that this doesn't come, to where you have a terminal illness or you get in like a really deep struggle, whatever it might be. Now you want to come to God and you haven't built that equity because now all of a sudden you're acting like you need him and you haven't been doing so before. So before it's too late, guys, act like you need God because we all do. God bless.